The people of that time couldn't figure out what's wrong with Parmenides' argument, what's wrong with Zeno's argument, but rather, as I just said, this is not a happy truth, an objective truth, picture of reality. This is rather a disturbing one, right? Because we see things, we hear things, we live our lives, but that isn't real. And along come the Sophists, and they can't refute Heraclitus, Parmenides, and Zeno. Okay, can't refute Heraclitus, Parmenides, and Zeno. What do they do for a living? They're these wandering teachers, and I should make it wandering. Maybe it's like management consultants today. They're high-paid people. They receive large fees for their instructions. Based on that, they better be committed to knowing things, right? Because they have to have some wisdom, right? The name sophist comes from the word, same word, philosophia. Philo, love of, Sophia, wisdom. The sophists, wise people. That's why you're going to pay these teachers large sums of money to teach your children, because they're wise, so they want to be able to know things. But remember, we learned this when we looked at the Meno. Knowledge is, true opinion with an account. In other words, justified true belief. That is true belief with a good reason for believing. So if truth has disappeared in the world, they don't have anything to sell, so they need to salvage truth. They need to account for some things being true. And in particular, we'd hope that the things that we see, etc., end up going to be true. So what's their answer? Their answer is that truth is relative. There isn't this absolute truth that the Milesians were talking about, led Heraclitus to talk about change, Parmenides and Zeno to talk about what they thought is true, but rather its truth is relative, which means, P, proposition is true, but it's true for a person, and that just per person S means that S perceives or believes that P. Now the question is this really a solution? And we're going to take a look at it in a little bit more detail. Well, they've accounted for truth in metaphysics. There's something that we find, I think, typically a little bit disturbing about this relative notion of truth, and it comes in because, if you take a proposition like murder is wrong, moral values that are expressed by propositions like that are relative. Rape is wrong for a person S if and only if S believes that rape is wrong, right? Of course, it has to be true for him. If she doesn't believe that rape is morally acceptable, I guess it's not true. And another practical consequence, what's the just form of government? What can the government do to its citizens? What are the citizens? So what determines that? And we're going to see again, it's going to be a notion of relativism. So let's first turn to the case of political philosophy and see where that brings us with the Sophists.